Let's get to know each other over some
for a
drinks.
walk.
Before we start investing.
0 day.
What should we go for a walk?
Yeah, some men do that.
I would.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for first date. Let's
For
go
first date?
Let's talk.
Are you trying to impress me or not?
I genuinely think, right, it's giving people more options that you wouldn't have had in the absence of social media. And what I mean by that is, with social media, you get to meet more people. As to whether or not you have real interactions, it's a different ballgame. But perhaps, yes, it could have made, or it can make dating, in terms of being deliberate, more difficult, just because you've got more options than you would normally have on social media.
I would agree. I think sliding into people's DMs is a thing now. Where
have you slid in someone's DM?
In school. Not now. Not now. I say that before I became a Christian, yeah, for sure. I mean, that was normal. But now that because I'm not really on social media now, I don't have the opportunity to do that. Maybe if I did, and I was, single. Then maybe, but I don't know.
Right now, have you had to slide into Brand's DM?
Oh, would you? Or would you and have you?
Yeah.
To both?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't. So I see sliding into the DMs as. I don't see it as sliding into the DMs. If I'm interested or I have to say something, but I wouldn't slide in your DM because I like you. But if I'd make connections on the DM all the time.
No, but that's what we're talking about. Is it in a
It's
specific
in
dating?
No.
Would you slide into a guy's DM if you're interested?
I don't think so, no.
So what are you gonna do to get out of his attention?
Actually, if I was interested, actually that's a good question. I probably would if there's a reason to, but I don't make connection with someone just because I'm interested, or if they have an event, if they have a comment, if there's a reason to, I would. If that makes sense. If there's an excuse to, put it that way.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, but you might find any excuse.
She calls it networking.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
You know the way she slid into mine, right? She didn't call it sliding. She just said, "Oh, I've got it one for you." Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll probably I could like some of his posts or comment on his posts. I think sliding into DM, because of the context of what it means, is a bit much. But if there's a genuine reason to, I probably would.
And love is not a reason to slide.
No, not because I'm a bit old-fashioned.
Okay. You like to be chased, yeah?
Yeah, I like to be pursued. But it doesn't mean I haven't slid into people's DM, as Paula says.
But she wouldn't call it love, she just calls it something else.
Wow. For me, it is when a lady is too forward. Yeah, I mean, there's a difference between showing interest and being too forward. Showing interest, I like that. Like, let me know that you're interested. If we're both interested in each other, we can show that. But too forward, maybe trying to initiate next steps or trying to progress things too quickly. Like, let me do. Do you know what I mean? Let me be the one to do that, so to speak. So.
Have you experienced women being too forward?
Essentially.
Okay.
But sometimes it's with good reason. If sometimes the guy's being too slow, and it's like, well, I'm not going to be here forever. Just waiting for you to make up your mind of to initiate next step. So I think sometimes it's with good reason, but I think in the initial phases, let the guy lead that, and if he's not, then maybe you have a decision to make.
Do you know, Serena's question was, what was the original question again? It was more personalized as opposed to a guy.
Yeah.
So you've managed to avoid personalizing the response.
What was the question again?
Have you experienced a woman being too forward?
Forward, yeah.
As opposed to a woman being forward?
Yeah.
Not without good reason.
Okay. Okay, and that's because you've been slow.
Yeah, too slow.
With good reason.
Okay.
For good reason.
Oh, I see.
In my view,
Okay.
maybe with good reason.
Yeah. I guess that's a good lesson for the women to know that men know what they're doing. So
we had the conversation a lot. Like sometimes the man is not slow because he doesn't like you, he doesn't want to feature with you. Sometimes the man is slow, like I said on a lot, but I don't want to repeat the story. But sometimes the man is slow because there are some things that he hasn't dealt with internally.
Right.
He's just apprehensive about. He probably wants to, but he's just like fearful or like commitment issues or what. Do you know what I mean? So I think there's a fine balance of he could know what he's doing. He could be having his cake and eating it as well.
Okay.
But there is the other side of actually maybe he hasn't dealt with certain things. So there's double-edged sword.
Okay. That's a good question.
Can I answer that question?
Yes.
I think it's definitely important, especially for a male, that is, to be financially stable. And I suppose financially stable means different things. It doesn't necessarily mean you've got to have a job, but at least you should be in a position to be able to maybe pay for the date, or at least do things that is creative. But yeah, I think some elements of financial stability matters. I mean, I do have a friend that when he proposed to his now wife, he didn't have a job, but it wasn't because he was being callous. It was just at that point in time, he didn't have a job. And interestingly, I think after he proposed, straight after the wedding, the job came in.
Oh, wow.
And things have really changed. So I think it's not so much yes, financial stability in the sense of there needs to be an element of stability for the women, whether that means having a career or a form of vocation that is sort of predictable, because that gives the women a bit of comfort or security. You know.
What do you think?
I think it's different for men versus women. So I think, as Fola said, it sort of depends what you're defining as financial. I think you should be able to, for a man, you should be able to take care of himself, be able to pay for dates and treat a woman reasonably well, you know, because I've heard some men complain about, oh, it's expensive, you have to do this, and I'm like, if you're complaining, then you're not ready, don't date.
So
you just
like,
go to cheaper places, you don't.
And then you have to know who you're dating as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Know who you're dating.
So for you, would you like to be wined and dined?
I would love to be wined and dined.
And does that take money? Like a lot of money?
Well, not extreme lots of money, no.
So he doesn't have to fly you out?
To explore, to meet different guys, you know, okay, this one will fly me out, this will treat you very nicely.
Is very personal. Actually, let's go there.
Or does he have to take you to Buddha bar?
No, he doesn't have to, but it's something that
you like.
Yeah, I like it, and he'll get bonus points. Like.
Why you say bonus?
I think bonus, as in it. You know, it's a way to my heart. It's if it's someone that treats me well, and I know it doesn't, and it's not about spending like loads and crazy amount of money, but do you know what I mean? If you're someone that you're complaining about taking a woman to a nice date, being able to pick her up, or you know, get Uber or drive. If you're complaining about that, then it's not every woman you can afford. Then know your level. You know, some men I'm like, okay, you need to go and get someone from the village. Do you understand? Like, don't come and date me and then you can't even go to somewhere decent.
Good, I hear you.
Yeah.
But you know what my friend said about this particular issue is the fact that sometimes we men, as a way of impressing the women, we set the bar really high. And we can't keep the bar.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And this is a female telling me. I mean, she's got the money, but she's very modest in that way. And so one of the things she said was, why didn't you just start low and then rank things as they go up, or you know, make it more expensive, as opposed to start high and then you realize, actually, you know what, I can't keep this going, and therefore I have to just stop it. You know. But Sabrina, I'm going to ask you a question. Actually, something that's been coming to my mind, that okay, if you and this guy, you both of you are in your 40s, right? And there's an expectation that he has to do this and do that. But presumably all those things you're expecting to do for you are things you would have done for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying if we're in our 40s?
Yeah, if both of you are the same age.
Yeah.
If you're expecting him to do all those things,
yeah.
Can you do that for yourself?
Can you do that for yourself, or you're waiting for him to now do it for you?
No. I think it's different for the women, right?
Okay.
I think yes, absolutely. I have to be able to do that for myself. I think women, there's less. I think there's. It depends on the type of relationship. If you're in like traditional, there's less. So it's less expensive. Maybe it's expensive in terms of obviously I need to look good, take care of myself. It costs a lot to look good for some women. So in that case, but it's less money investment. I think I think. As opposed to, so for example, most times the man's paying for the date. In my experience, I haven't had to pay for dates a lot, unless maybe after 3 times, and I'm like insisting I want to treat you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So more, I think the financial responsibility is more on the man.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not going to say like I'm shy. Yes, generally the financial responsibility is more on the man. Of course, we're in the modern day, and there's all this 50-50 concept that's come into play. But I think generally men can't afford. You don't have to be so rich, but if you're at the point where you're complaining to take a woman out, then don't date.
Or maybe change where you go to go dating as opposed to don't date. So you can do creative things like going to the park.
Okay, so that's zero. So that's zero dating. That's what they call zero dating.
Sorry.
What's zero dating?
So zero dating is where the man doesn't want to spend any money. He doesn't want to invest anything. So like, for example, there was a guy that wanted to take me out for drinks on our first date. I'm like, I don't do drinks. Like seriously.
Drink as in like a bar.
Yeah,
Good,
like
dress up decent, go to a bar for drinks. I would do that for a first date.
For
just
first
saying.
date.
Just generation, yeah.
I'll do that for a first
Okay, yeah, some women will do that because they want to be quick.
I'm not even quitting.
Let's get to know each other over some
go for a
drinks
walk.
Before we start investing.
Zero date.
What should we go for a walk?
Yeah, some men do that.
I would.
Are you serious?
Yeah, for first date. Let's
for
go
first
for a walk.
date.
Let's talk.
Are you trying to impress me or not?
I'm not. But that's my point, right?
Sorry, so what you expect?
If I listen.
You would actually.
If I need to.
I think I'm with Danny on this one.
If I need to impress you by spending money, then we're not meant to be together. Because that's not how I aim to impress you. I want to.
It doesn't mean it doesn't have the money.
No,
yeah,
Danny,
and I would like to do that,
okay,
and I want to, and I probably would. But my point is that let's say for example you've been seeing this guy, maybe it's like your 5th date, and he says, "Oh, do you want to meet up? Let's go for a walk."
No, absolutely.
That's
different.
You're saying
That's different for a first date.
Okay, I hear you.
I feel like you're not even and it's both ways. So if I'm a high effort dater, so I will try to look good as much as I can. It takes time to do your nails, to do your eyelashes, to do all of this. Do you know, I'm not just gonna show up.
You would just show up in jeans and a jumper.
Not on the first date. Maybe.
Hey.
Not on the first date.
But this is Sabrina's preference.
And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying why? Why?
Because it's like putting your best foot forward. If it's someone I like, it's like I know it's later on. It's like after the 3rd date, then we're trying to be ourselves or whatever. Or
you're trying to be yourself in the first.
No, you know what I mean.
Are you trying to be yourself in the first date or not?
Let's be real. So basically, it's me being myself, me showing up when I just woke up in the morning.
Yeah,
but do you get it?
I hear you, but I I'm with you. I hear what you said, but I'm with Danny on this though, because sometimes going for a walk, you get to talk more than you would in a dinner setting, because the difference with a dinner setting
on the first date.
I'm open to that.
What about if it's not even a date?
Have you done that? Okay.
Have I done it?
Should I talk about?
You can give my current.
Okay, so the first date. Where did you?
I picked her up. We went for some food.
Yeah,
and we went for a walk, and then we went for a walk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The problem is not the walk in itself. But the problem is if you're trying to take me for a walk, just for a walk. What kind of thing is that?
I hear you.
It's interesting though. I do remember. Well, maybe this one isn't a date. Or maybe in my mind it wasn't a date, but I remember somebody saying, "Oh, let's hang out," and we went for a walk. And after that walk, they became very distant. So in my mind, I'm thinking, was that a date or was that just friends going for a walk? But it's just that idea of going for a walk, especially during the pandemic, right? It's a good way to get to know people without the pressure. I remember of another story of this lady. She was speaking to this guy, and whenever they went for coffee, she gets there before the guy gets there, and she would have paid for her own coffee, as a way of just making things like a neutral ground without any pressure. So it could just be a value standard,
That's
for you.
it's
You need that, feeling of being pampered and so on.
Cherish, you just make, and don't get me wrong, I love walking. It's one of my favourite things to do.
Sure, not on the first day.
Not on the first, because I feel like it's just too casual, and I feel like in this day and age, especially, and think about, I'm not saying that dating is marrying, but if you think about the Bible time, the value that was put on women, people served with their life. People, do you know what I mean? Like even Christ served. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but I think it's the same concept. If you're really interested in a woman, a man that's truly interested in a woman is trying to impress her, is trying to, male instinct is trying to do for a woman, trying to give to a woman, and that's the natural male instinct. So if you're trying to take me for a walk, it's either you're stingy or you're not interested.
Or maybe it's trying to filter you out, because you never know. Some men have had bad experiences, and so
That's a good
like a leveler. Let's see whether she's in it for me or for the money.
Or for bread.
That could be another one.
Okay,
for bread.
Okay. Maybe. Then that means you're stingy. If you're doing that.
All I'm saying,
Wait, I'm not saying that word, but I'm just saying for some men, they might have had bad experiences or people taking them for an advantage, and therefore they need something neutral.
Like footballers. I had a footballer, I remember, Man United footballer. He took obviously filthy rich, took a girl to Nando's, and to see how she would react. She probably, expecting this extravagant restaurant and money and this and that. Took her to Nando's, simple old Nando's that an average working class guy can afford, And she's, I can't remember her reaction, but I'm just saying that could be the case as well. They just want to fill you out, see what you're really about,
Because Rina, you don't know a lot of experiences of some men that they might have had bad first encounters, and therefore they need a level playing field. But hey, it's okay.
But obviously there's exceptions to the rules. So I'm not trying to say if you're poor, there's some people like your friend who said, is it your friend? That they were poor? Somebody's friend was poor. So if you're poor, maybe God can lead you, I don't know. I have no idea. Some people some people that got married to someone without a job. That's the exception, I think.
But they were, of course, at this time they were dating before he left his role. So it wasn't he left his role and they started dating. What I meant was they got engaged.
Okay, fair enough.
Whilst it wasn't working, but he wasn't poor.
Okay.